Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, you are very welcome to Activity Therapy. Today we are going to look at wheelchairs and its types and uses in different forms. So the wheelchairs are categorized in different ways. So we are going to categorize them here in 5 different ways. Number 1, by their power. And number 2, by control. Number 3, by environment in which they are used. Number 4, by their compactness. Number 5, by their action. So we're going to look at the categorization according to their power. So they are categorized into 2 forms, manual wheelchairs and powered wheelchairs. So the manual wheelchairs are using the forces from its occupier or carers for their propulsion from one place to another and to engage its controls like brakes and armrest and foot plates. Whereas the power wheelchairs has a different source for their movements. So they could be from a battery power fully and partially power assisted. In powered wheelchairs, they mostly uses the rigid frames, and it has a variety of functions like a tilt and space, recline, and the joystick controls and the seat raise, and they have a different adaptation to its controls like a joysticks, and they use the off and puff of the breath control and the headband where you can control the wheelchair using the head movements and things like that. So the other types are by their control. So the wheelchairs are categorized into self-propelling wheelchairs and attendant propelling wheelchairs. Here they are categorized according to their controllers. So in self-propelling wheelchairs, the wheelchairs are moved or propelled by the occupier or users, and also the controls are engaged by the users like a brake and mounting the armrest and taking out the foot plates. So they are used in different forms for moving, and also the user they unmount the armrest for sliding transfers in and out of the wheelchair, and they remove the foot plates when they are standing or pivoting from wheelchair to other forms of surface. And the attendant propelled wheelchairs, here the carers exert the force to move the wheelchair and controls all the different parts it has, namely the foot plates, armrest, and the brakes. So sometimes the brakes can be mounted on the handles of the wheelchair, so it's used for the attendant when they're moving about. And the third categorization by environment in which they are used. So they are categorized into indoor and outdoor wheelchairs. The indoor wheelchairs are used, and as name suggests, inside the house or inside the public premises and schools and sports halls, places like that. So the outdoor wheelchairs are used outside the buildings. They could be used on roads, footpaths, on the rough grounds, and in the playground, open playgrounds. So it has, mainly they have a thicker pneumatic tires which serves as a shock absorption and also yields better grip for the service users. And the fourth type, they are categorized by their compactness. They are categorized into foldable wheelchairs and rigid frame wheelchairs. Mainly the foldable wheelchairs are lightweight wheelchairs. They are used in scenarios like the transport, especially when the elderly couple using it, one of them is a carer, they need a lighter weight wheelchair in order to transport them in the car, and they occupy a very little space in the car. So the carer, by their choice, they could remove different parts of the wheelchair to make it lighter for their transportation, and also they can fold it using different techniques. And the rigid frame wheelchairs are, as the name suggests, they are rigid for certain purposes. They are used in the power wheelchairs where the power unit is mounted onto the power to power the wheelchair. And also the rigid frame used in the passive wheelchairs where it has number of different features needs to be mounted for service user needs. And the fifth type we're going to look at is by their action. So they are passive wheelchairs and active wheelchairs. We're going to look at here the passive wheelchairs are the comfort wheelchairs for mounting different features on them. So here the passive wheelchair is a rigid frame, and it's a heavy duty frame, and it has a supported backrest and supported armrest. It has a headrest and the lateral supports, and also has elevators and extendable foot plates as well to support the service users, and also carries different features like a tilt in space function and recliner function, which shift the user positioning during the day to relieve the pressure and to orient them into different position. And they could actually have a few other features like the lap tray, enabling them for in their activities like feeding and things like that. So whereas the active wheelchairs are, as the name suggests, they are very agile for young cohort of users. They use them in the playground, on the sports activities, and they use them in the workplaces and in the public activities. So they could be carrying a rigid frame with the lightweight metals like titanium and things like that. So they could be expensive, but they have a versatile functions. They are like external skeletal system for users. So they serves number of purposes in their day-to-day activities. So the wheelchairs are categorized into different forms and according to their features. So namely, there are other types as well. They're very uncommon, like bariatric wheelchairs. So there serves bariatric population by having a wider seat width and carries higher load limit. So this use is for very certain group of people. Thank you for watching Activity Therapy. Like, share this video, subscribe, and leave your valuable comments to bring more of these videos. Thank you.